Hi, everyone. So I'm here with my analysis today. I don't really have to introduce my name because those who do know my name is Shantae, and I'm here with my stuff today on this Monday, July. So many J's. July 13th, 2020. So here we are with some stuff today. Not too much of a jam-packed day today, but there's some stuff. It's a little detailed. So I'm here with the COVID-19 response. Of course, you know COVID-19 is very real in the field in terms of the increasing cases in states, especially in the southern hemisphere of our country. So here we are with some globally we are at 12.6 million. I didn't catch the that part, but here in the US, we are at 3,361,042 with our fatalities sitting at 135,582. So again, here in the US, we had 361,042 cases, and our death toll is at 135,582. Brazil has 1.8, almost 1.9 million, so they right behind us. India is at 878,254. They've really climbed up in numbers. Which is at 732,547. Peru is at 330,123, and Mexico is at 299,750. Here in the Latin countries, only recorded 3. So Panama. I'm start with Panama. It's at 47,173. DR is at 45,506. Honduras is at 28,090. And the African countries only recorded 3. Nigeria is sitting at 33,153. Ghana is at 24,988. Senegal is at 8,198. In the West Indies, Jamaica has moved up to 758 cases. Haiti, I meant to put Haiti first. Haiti is at 6,727, and that's due to the over 45,000 cases in the Dominican Republic, and Haiti is right next to Dominican Republic, so they countries is like next to each other. So that's why Haiti is seeing those thousands of cases as of a West Indian country with predominantly Black French people. Guyana is seeing 300. Bahamas at 111, so they moved up in some numbers. They were at 104, so they went 7 cases up. Belize went 7 cases up. They was at 39. They at 37. Trinidad and Tobago remained the same at 133. St. Vincent moved up from 29 cases to 35, so they went up about 6 cases. Grenada's still sitting at 23. St. Lucia still sitting at 22, and Dominica at 18. Now here in the States, 43 states are seeing rising COVID cases, while 27 states are seeing rising death tolls. And those are states include California, Texas, Florida, Arizona, New Jersey, South Carolina, Ohio, Louisiana, North Carolina, Mississippi, Tennessee, and more. Number of cases, New York is still sitting at the highest cases. They're at 406, 962 cases, with the death toll sitting at 32,075. California is really behind us. They're like half, not even half, like this much. They're at 336,104, and their death toll is in at 7,085. Florida is at 282,427 with a death toll of 4,200. Texas is 273,221 with a death toll of 3,300. New Jersey's at 177. They're seeing rising deaths, and they are the second highest death toll in the country at 15,560. Illinois is at 156,288 with a death toll of 7,300, almost 7,400. Arizona is at 123,849. Keep in mind they have the highest infection rate in the country right now. They're sitting like at 20 or 30 something percent of infection rates, so it's very high. With 2,200 deaths. And Georgia is at 111,937 with a death toll of almost 3,000. So as of yesterday, July 12th, the country has seen almost 60,000 new cases. So it's actually 57,789. That's a lot. And like I said yesterday, Florida saw 15,300 cases. My cousin lives in Miami. My cousin has been at home. She works from home. And of course her car broke down. So she hasn't really gone anywhere. But she said there's some people that just not wearing a mask. And they just still hanging out. Having like it's a good time. And Disney World is open. My mom's home state of South Carolina, they never did a stay-at-home order. And I think Columbia, the capital, the city, is really having a hard time with their hospitalizations. It's almost at capacity. And no one's really reporting on that. On last time, it was a report on that was MSNBC reported in Lexington. I think that's West Columbia. So these COVID cases is real. Like California and Oregon just rolled back their reopening, including their indoor stuff, and closed down their bars because of the rising COVID cases that's happening. It's 43 states that's seeing rising cases. So like that's just shit is crazy. But the governor of New York did a briefing, and then he it had Mayor Bottoms at the briefing. And Atlanta is another place where they're seeing struggling cases. There's a lot of hospitalizations. They're overwhelmed. And plus, the governor of Georgia, he sucks. He doesn't even know that COVID transmits from one person to another. So this is exactly what's happening. It's really bad. But Governor Cuomo is offering help to the city of Atlanta. So with more contact tracing, with more testing, and just with more I think PPE and all other stuff. So this way, Atlanta will get the assistance that they need, because they're not getting assistance from, of course, the federal level and even from the governor, because the governor wants to rush reopening. It's just the same way, and they had to scale back to phase 1. So this whole notion of we're in the clear, we're not in the clear. Like Georgia is on the travel advisory ban list from states like New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, which they did a whole joint thing. Also, as in terms of New York stuff, we only seen the lowest hospitalization rate since March 18th, which is 792. That's less than 800. Of course, our infection rate as of yesterday with the positivity rate is only at 1.1%, which is very good from where we were back in April. Also, the death toll as of yesterday was 10 people. That include 8 in the hospital, 2 in the nursing home. Yesterday, we conducted 51,687 tests, and only 557 people were tested positive. So that is 1.08 infection rate testing, which is not bad. In terms of school reopening, it also depends on what Governor Cuomo said. If the region has a less than 5% testing within a 14-day average, then schools can partially reopen, but not at full capacity, and that has to be in phase 4. And New York City is only in phase 3. Every other state is in the region is already in phase 4. We're not in phase 4, and honestly, I'd rather be stuck in phase 3. And even people in phase 2 and now phase 3 in New York City, some of them not taking this kind of seriously. Like, dude, it's the coronavirus. You should still wear your mask. You shouldn't be carrying your mask in your hand and then putting it on your face, because you're giving your own self germs. You're making your own self sick, and then you gotta wash your hands and like all extra stuff that you could be doing. When I have my mask on the street, I don't take it off. I keep that mess on. I only take it off when I get in my house and I wash my hands, and that's what you have to do. Like, it's just, this is something that we're gonna be in for probably the rest of the year. And you know what? Until we get a vaccine, this is what we're going to have to do, and that's it. And I know all of us miss our family. I haven't seen my mom in 4 months. I haven't seen my other sister in 4 months, my eldest sister in 3 months. So, I mean, and my dad comes down once a week where we meet outside. And he gives me what I need. We don't hug. We don't embrace. So this is the new normal. This is the new normal. And of course, he criticized Trump. He hit Trump on the head with certain things, saying how negligent he is, how irresponsible he is, and how he cost us a lot of money. And basically criticizing Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci is the one that's actually giving us tips to save our lives. Because millions of people would have been dead if there was no Dr. Fauci. Come on, seriously. It would have been. But that's enough on the coronavirus. So here, next, I'm going to switch gears and go to the White House press briefing, which Miss Kayleigh McEnany, who is the press secretary to Donald Trump, was basically asked about the whole coronavirus and if we're in good shape. She basically lied and said we are in good shape, and she pretty much say that Arizona and Texas have great infection. They're fine. They're in the clear. And no, they're not, because I read the numbers for Texas and Florida and Arizona. Their cases are increasing. People are dying. Their death toll is going up. Florida just had a big surge, over more than New York when we was at our peak. So she was asked about that. She was also asked about the Apple research that they were trying to dump on Dr. Fauci. Said there was no Apple research, but she lied. She also lied about the retweet that Donald Trump basically retweeted something that a game show host back in the 80s said the CDC is lying, the Democrats is lying, medical professionals is lying. Medical professionals is not lying. I never saw so many doctors, and that includes virologists, people who find cures for cancer. I never seen so many epidemiologists that work in infectious diseases. I never saw any medical doctors on there that report on this like no other. Like, this is serious. Even pediatricians even said that kids can be affected, because she said, oh, kids are not affected. That's what Dr. Redding said. I believe Dr. Redding didn't say that. Dr. Redding, to me, who's the head of the CDC, he doesn't have a spine. He's a pussy. That's what he is. And it's the truth. Like, kids get affected. Kids in New York, there's like 3 or 4 kids in New York that died from the Wasaki virus, which is COVID-related symptoms that kids get under 18 years old. If they have respiratory issues, they get it the worst. They die. A 5-year-old died, and I think an 18-year-old died, and I don't know if a baby died. But a 5-year-old and an 18-year-old has died. 3 kids basically in New York died from the Wasaki. So kids are valuable to get this virus, just like adults. That's why they encourage everyone from child to get their virus. And he's saying Dr. Fauci was wrong on certain things. Dr. Fauci didn't tell us to wear masks because they were still finding out how serious this virus is and why people are wearing masks. And we didn't have enough masks even for our medical professionals, because Donald Trump, to this day, still really haven't invoked the Defense Protection Act fully. If he fully invoked the Defense Protection Act, there would be more masks than ever available. There would have been more hand sanitizers in the store. There would have been more disinfecting wipes in the store, because there's not that many disinfecting wipes in the store. All Donald Trump has to do is invoke fully the Defense Protection Act. You can look it up. And he hasn't done it. Defense Protection Act is done for something emergencies, like if it's a medical emergency or if it's a war emergency. And he hasn't fully done it because he doesn't understand how government works. That's why you don't vote for someone that pretty much don't know nothing. You like the ideal of them, but when times are serious like this and he doesn't know what he's doing, it makes us look bad on the national stage. Like, we already banned from Europe. Can't go to Europe. And I'm pretty sure the West Indies just kicked out all their tourists. So the West Indies have the least cases out of the whole entire countries on the globe. It's 188 countries that have COVID-19, and the West Indies have the least cases. And here on the U.S., we have the most cases. We at 2.3 million, almost at 2.4. And we was making progress, but you could blame the South and you could blame the West for reopening too fast because they don't want to pay unemployment insurance, a political thing. Really? Please. Your life is more important. And I already covered about Dr. Fauci already, but Chance the Rapper said something like this. He said, he tweeted this. Are you more pro-Biden or anti-yay, and why? I get that you all want to reply that you're just trying to get Trump out of the office. He quote that. But in the hypothetical scenario, where you're replacing Trump, can someone explain why Joe Biden would be better? That's an easy question. Joe Biden wasn't everybody's ideal candidate. Let's just get that real. However, I would rather have someone that had the executive experience in the White House under the first African-American president, who he never disrespected, who knows how to handle pandemics, because he handled the H1N1 in 2009 when President Obama appointed him to lead the way on how to handle a pandemic, a public health problem, and Ebola. And Ebola only claimed the lives of 2 Americans. Not 2,000, not 200,000, not 2,000,000. 2 people. 2. While Donald Trump has 135,000 lives and counting on his watch. 2.3 sick people. Yeah, 1 million people recovered. But a lot of people still have lifelong illnesses behind COVID-19. I know 2 people already that had diagnosed with COVID and they're still alive, because I know there's people that, yep, exactly, that's been dead. He would handle it very differently, Jamila. Like, we wouldn't have 2.3 million, 2 million cases in this country. We wouldn't have been banned from going to Europe. We would have had a summer, for crying out loud. There would have been parades. All parades has been canceled for the rest of the year in New York. And the parades bring us a lot of money. The marathon is canceled. I'm pretty sure it is. If they're canceling the Puerto Rican Day Parade, the Dominican Day Parade, the West Indian Day Parade, the African American Day Parade, probably the St. Patty's, the Columbus Day Parade, probably canceled. And probably the marathons probably canceled. And probably the Rockefeller Center celebration is probably canceled too. And the Macy's Day Parade probably canceled too. Because we're supposed to be seeing a second wave of this thing real soon. And we want to keep bending our curve, we might have to cancel these parades until 2021, until we find a vaccine, because we're not finding one. And I learned today, one of the guys I went to high school with went to a gathering. He probably sure had his mask on, and not knowing, he caught COVID. He had COVID for 10 days. He can't even be around his son or nor his wife. He said, thank God they don't have symptoms, but you don't know if they're going to have symptoms messing with you. And I feel bad for him, because he did everything he had, the safety precautions, gloves, washing their hands, mask. And that person that he probably went to the party with probably was asymptomatic. This is exactly why I always preached and preach. And for Chance the Rapper to really write that tweet, then again, he's a millionaire. And before he was a millionaire, he grew up in a very privileged family, and he was well connected with politicians back in Chicago, Illinois. So it's like, yes, Trump is not the blame for everything, but Trump is the blame for why the country is badly infected with, not just with the coronavirus or the pandemic. We don't really have a relationship with our allies. Like, allies will help you around the time of a pandemic, and we don't even have. The European Union just told us we couldn't come to our country. And I'm sorry, like, I hope I'm answering your question, Jamila, but like, if Europe say they can't help us, that's serious. We used to have so many allies. We're alone. Canada don't even want to be bothered with us because we have high COVID infections. Canada don't have the amount of cases that we have. And Canada is the north of us. And I think they barred us from their country too. In terms of Mexico, the Mexican president is scared because the Mexico has like 299,000 cases too. Their cases is rising. They're above the UK. So Trump is not to blame for racism because racism's been here before him. But he gave them a platform, especially the white men. He gave them a platform to say, he said, like somebody just threw red paint on the Black Lives Matter sign on 5th Avenue. Right down the block on 57th. So, I mean, overall, like, Donald Trump has led this country not into good promises. Like, he promised the people that voted for him. Like, I feel bad, slightly bad. Not fully bad, but slightly bad for the people that voted for him because he sold them a dream and he said he was going to do what he's going to do for the country. And all he really has done is basically made us look crazy on the national stage. He signed a tax bill for the rich in some parts of the middle of the country. And even those people that voted for him are seeing high taxes in their tax returns. I mean, they're not seeing a lot of money returned back to them. They're seeing slightly increases in their paycheck, but it's only, a $5 increase? You're not really seeing much on your paycheck. So when we talk about this administration and what they say they do for black people, they don't really reciprocate. Like the First Step Act did not really release a lot of people out of prison. It released like only 350 people. That First Step Act was supposed to release a lot of people with nonviolent offenses that served long sentences. And they didn't even do that. And they just got rejected from the lethal injection because they still doing the death penalty on people. So they really don't mean what they say. So like I said, Jamila, I hope this answers your question with this administration because they don't do what they say they do. There was a lot of presidents I did not like. I did not care for the Bush administration, but they never sold a false dream. I just hated their policies because they affected me because my parents were middle class. And he killed the middle class. Like Reagan hurt it, but Bush did more further damage to the middle class. Donald Trump claims that he's going to restore. I never heard him say he's going to restore the middle class. I just say he wants to bring the jobs back. And a lot of jobs haven't been brought back. From this pandemic, a lot of companies have been filing for Chapter 7. And the PPP loans never went to the small businesses. And a lot of small businesses lost their business and their credit is tied to it. And this administration still haven't came up with another relief bill. And it needs to be another relief bill because there's a lot of people I know that got small businesses and their livelihood and they feed their family depends on that business. So I'm going to wrap this up. Besides that, my final thoughts is one, keep Naya Rivera in prayer. She was a great actress and a great singer, and unfortunately her life was taken. I believe she drowned. I didn't fully read the report, but they found her, but not alive, and just pray that her son is in good hands. And also I just pray for everyone that's watching this live to please take care of yourselves and take care of your family. Make sure you protect yourself out here because COVID is really hitting close to people that I know. And I don't want anybody to get it. Because once you get it, like even after you recover, you're not the same fully. And I try to protect myself all the time where I try to stay away from large crowds. I've been doing okay with it, but I really want to stay away from large crowds. I check myself every day just to make sure like I don't get a fever or anything. So to everyone that I care about and that's watching this live and those who will watch this live on the timeline, please, coronavirus is serious. I want you to take care of yourself and I just want you to be healthy. So on that note, stay safe, wash your hands, wear your mask, practice social distance, and let's be vigilant. So take care of yourself and each other. Have a good night.